Welcome back to another episode of Magic the Gathering Arena. We're going to be playing another round of games with our Selesnya Enchantments deck. The deck focuses on using Generous Visitor and Cameo of Transients to get a whole bunch of value out of playing enchantments, a whole bunch of +1/+1 value. And Cameo of Transients makes itself big. Generous Visitor puts a +1/+1 counter on target creature, so that can be it. That can be the Cameo of Transients to make this even bigger. That can be the Jukai Naturalist or Catilda if we want to put it on a life linker to get a big chunk of life back when we swing in, or even a Hallowed Haunting Spirit. Trample from the Rune of Might helps those big swings not only kill any chump blockers, but take a big chunk of life out of our opponent. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1 and has trample, but also, when it enters the battlefield, draw a card. And that enters the battlefield sort of effect is the type of thing that Weaver of Harmony will allow us to copy. He has an activated ability, copy target activated or triggered ability you control from an enchantment source. You can choose new targets for the copy, so we'll choose that triggered ability when it enters the battlefield. Draw a card that's a triggered ability because it begins with the word when. That's an easy way to know if you have a triggered ability. They say when or whenever. Um, so we can tap an extra forest and tap a Weaver of Harmony to draw one card per one Weaver of Harmony. And we can do the same thing with Spirited Companion. And once again, once I have enough rare wild cards for a whole bunch of dual lands that tap for red mana, the Spirited Companion is going to go to be replaced by the rune that gives haste, whatever that red rune is. Because I think instead of having a 1/1 body out there kind of just sitting there, or maybe it's a 2/2, if a Weaver of Harmony is giving it +1/+1, okay, I mean, unless it has trample, that doesn't really matter. I think that I could get much more value out of a haste rune, because then I could, for example, if I had Jukai Naturalist out, if I played Jukai Naturalist turn 2 and it lives to turn 3, what I can do with a hypothetical third man out on the field now and a Jukai Naturalist is I can play a Weaver of Harmony for 1 green mana because we have the Jukai out. I can use my next mana. I would tap it for a red mana, which is the hypothetical Rune of Haste that's in this deck, targeting the Weaver of Harmony. The Rune of Haste would resolve on it, right? So now Weaver of Harmony has haste when it enters the battlefield effect comes into play. It's the same one as this. It's just when Rune of Haste enters the battlefield, draw a card. So at this point, I should be able to tap my Weaver of Harmony because if it enters the battlefield, it resolved, right? So I'm assuming that then I could tap my hypothetical third mana because this is my third turn and this is just some quote dream turn, so then I could tap my third mana on this Weaver of Harmony that I just played, but I also just gave him haste. So now we can copy the draw card effect and draw 2 cards on our third turn. So I think that that's nice. I guess in addition to maybe powering up a Catilda on a 4th turn, we could play a Catilda. I don't think we can cheapen this spell, but we could, pay that and then a red, give her haste. The haste rune I think gives +1/+0, and then since it's another enchantment out on the field, that's another +1/+1 by her effect. So yeah, I think overall a haste rune is a win here. Of course, a big swing with a Jukai Naturalist is good too, because that's another lifelinker. We like that. We like having 2 Kami of Transients because it gets big, and it also has Trample built in. I like having Trample because, oh man, we want to get things done quickly with this deck. I find myself at a loss for cards sometimes. I can deal a lot of damage with the cards I draw, but I often find myself low on cards, so I don't want to get chump blocked. When I play all my cards, I want to do as much damage as possible, and I want the game to be as close to over as possible. And yeah, trample helps. So I think 2 Calming of Transients with 1 in the sideboard, if you're going up against someone with a lot of removal but who's not taking this out of the graveyard, like red, for example, or maybe even some blue builds, some black. I would say maybe less white, but yeah, because the Calming of Transients comes back whenever an artifact goes into your graveyard, so it can be extremely persistent. That's why we keep 1 in the sideboard. I think that explains just about everything. Why don't we get into this? Oh yeah, one more thing. I only have 1 overgrown farmland. Once again, rare wild cards are at a premium, so we're going to be adding those as we go along. Maybe we'll open up a pack today if we can get our 2 daily quests done here. Looked like I have to do a quest casting black or red spells. Blue Mechtitan, green white Selesnya. Aren't any of those. So it looks like I might be doing only 1 of those quests, but it's all the same because I don't think that I'd be able to open up a second pack. I think that'll only be 1 in total, so that's a-okay. I think we'll open up a pack of I don't know, whatever icon the overgrown farmland is, because I think that I have 2 dual lands from that set, as opposed to the red-white dual land, which I believe is from, you know, the set that it's from. There's Visitor here because Blossom Sands. We have the 2 white sources for Catilda. Oh, I hate that deck. Poison counters are terrible. I think that it just needs to be reworked somehow. Poison counters should not be how they are. I think that they just surprise end games too fast and the mechanic itself doesn't make the game interesting at all. It just makes the game extremely short, and it provides the utmost sense of urgency for in exchange for really not that much, I don't know, gameplay relevancy or whatever. Gameplay relevancy, or maybe changing gameplay or impact on gameplay. I'm not choosing my words extremely well, but I think I'm getting my point across. So this can kill one of his death touchers. It would be nice to get rid of that Fang, because then we're just going to borrowed time the Fang, the other guy. So we casted 1 removal spell for green there essentially. So that's good, because now we're going to be casting another removal spell. This one costs 3 to accomplish the same feat. Yeah, I think we want to get rid of that thing, because for all I know, he'll bring down a mountain and then something with haste. I mean, maybe that's not how this deck goes. I'm not super familiar with it, but man, I'm gonna pay respect to that poison counter ability, because I know you can only have 10 and I have 4 already. Next turn it would have been 6. I'm not attacking. Generous Visitor is way too valuable. Because, oh, every +1/+1 counter on Catilda is a +1/+1 counter up in the air with flying. Okay, it looks like we can survive another turn. Oh man, we need Catilda right now, but wouldn't it be nice if we had a red mana instead of that? Because we have 4. Wouldn't it be nice if we had a 4th red mana so that we could play the Rune of Haste and then start attacking with our SA? I think she'd be a total of a 6/5 if that was the case. Because I would put the rune from the +1/+1 counter from that guy on her. Oh man, that would be good. Maybe I should have attacked there, but whatever. We can survive 8. That Elven Walled Oddity is great, and oh man, transforms into the Behemoth. Other creatures +1/+1 trample and haste. That's good. That's good. Great card. I like that a lot. Okay, we're not going to block. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh dear. Okay, yeah. Well, Catilda also increases her strength based on the number of spirits. So if the Kami of Transience is a spirit, so playing that will add to her. Let's see. He's going to deal at least 10 damage, so I need this to be at least a 6 when I attack with it. So let's start with Kami of Transience. I wish I had more. I can't play Hallowed Haunting because that's not enough. That would only make her a 4/4. It would start generating more spirits next turn. Or actually, then it would be a 5/5. But I'd only have 9. I would lose unless I block with Generous Visitor. I don't want to block with Generous Visitor. Yeah, he said year ago. I know. Play this. Kami of Transience, I guess that's going to be blocking. Hopefully that's enough life, and I have 2 options. I can block with Kami of Transience, I can block with Generous Visitor. I would prefer to block with the Kami of Transience over the Generous Visitor because I can get Kami of Transience back. Remember, it comes back if any enchantments die. I think my opponent's probably checking that out too. They have 1 card in hand, so whatever they do, they won't do anything else. Although they actually do, now that I think about it, they have that level 3 card. Maybe I spoke too soon. Okay, yeah, he took back that attack. You know, just to be safe, I'm going to block because I see 1 forest open, and you really never know with green. So I'm going to go ahead, and I'm just going to block with the Kami of Transience there. I don't think it's an important one here. It takes away from my Catilda, but I feel like I needed to do that. Oh man, Tamiyo's safekeeping. That is... Oh man, that's really good. Okay, well, we still have a chance. If he doesn't power up too much, we can block the wolf token with our generous visitor. Oh, and that has haste. Yeah, well, okay, that's it. Trample haste, that's a good game, I guess, right? Because it's 11, that's 15. We can block 2 of that, yeah. Very nice. Oh man, I was hoping for the victory, but we were a little mana starved, so we couldn't do what I wanted to do, which was Hallowed Haunting, because then every enchantment that we play would increase Catilda's power and the life gain that we get back every turn by 2, because not only do we have another enchantment on the field, but Hallowed Haunting gives us a spirit, and Catilda's power and toughness count both of those. I like using a Catilda with a Rune of Might as my big swinger, honestly. I kind of like the idea of, the cards that grow more powerful with, whatever criteria. I think we'll take this here. We're gonna be a turn behind, lagging like that, but that's how it is until we shore up that mana base with those rare wild cards. Those infamous rare wild cards. Alright, it looks like his days are numbered. He's a clue now. So we'll find out what happened. Maybe we'll sacrifice that clue. It depends. My ideal play is Juke Naturalist, yeah, so surely he'll take that. Good play opponent, of course. I think I'll play Weaver of Harmony, because then next turn I can play a Spirited Companion if I don't get another land. Or if I do get the other land, I'll play Hallowed Haunting. I don't... oh boy. Well, we'll see what our opponent takes. He has, honestly, a few good options. Either way, I should get to draw 2 cards, which is nice. Yeah, Hallowed Haunting is a good play. But hopefully I can get a bunch of card draw and hit a whole bunch of land drops so that I can be playing these cards, even though they cost 2 more. There's one of our land drops. So I think that... I think Spirited Companion is the right play. Just for the card draw. Okay, so it looks like next turn I'll play Catilda, because it looks like we're about to take a whole bunch of damage. I think I'm going to block that. I think I'll play Catilda and a Spirited Companion. I think even though it's either that or sacrifice the clue, but I think I want as much power behind Catilda as possible, because, oh man, things aren't looking pretty. So we're just going to play Spirited Companion without having the mana to double the power. Just so that we can get as big of a swing as possible with Catilda, I think we can play one Michiko and double it. See, something about this is at least we can block one of these guys and gain some life. Quickly do that. Let's see, we're going to take 7, 13, 7, 13, 16. Ugh. I don't want to lose my Catilda. Oh man, I'm kind of a... Man, this is kind of tough, honestly. This isn't looking too good. This is the only way the Catilda play is the only way to get lifelink on the field. Put it onto most likely the Spirited Companion and attack. I would only be swinging for 5. Looks like we're gonna lose. That's a good game to the opponent. Those elite spellbinders really did us in. Taking out our best plays, man. We need that Jukai to bring the so that we could do more plays per turn. And we need that Hallowed Haunting because it lets us go wide, and we had a Catilda, so it helps with that. Plus we had a Weaver, so actually we could double the Hallowed Haunting triggers also. That's nice. Weaver of Harmony activated on the Hallowed Haunting trigger. It's a nice way to get some meat on the field really quick. I think I'll take this, even though I don't have a source of green. I think I'll take this. I have Spirited Companion. I have borrowed time for, well, maybe 1 or 2 turns of borrowed time. Hopefully I can get into a green by then. Our opponent's taken a little while, so this is a nice time to remind viewers that if you wouldn't mind taking a moment to hit the thumbs up button, to leave a like, comment, subscribe. Any of those would be very much appreciated. It lets me know that people out there are seeing what I'm doing, and not only that, but they're enjoying what they're seeing. That's a nice thing to know. So thank you, and we'll get back to the action now. We had a slow start, but we managed to draw a green source, Blossoming Sands. It came into play tapped, but on our 3rd turn, we were able to tap 3 mana for Catilda, so we hit our mana curve on the 3rd turn. I played Catilda because not only now do we have Catilda ready to attack on our 4th turn when our opponent's tapped out, so we will be getting the attack in, but we can play Generous Visitor into, it looks like Weaver of Harmony would be the best bet here. So that way next turn we can play either Spirited Companion with the double draw or Borrowed Time with the doubled effect. So we'll do Generous Visitor. That's a spirit, so that powers up Catilda by 1. And then, oh right, I can't play Weaver of Harmony because it's okay. So, yeah, genius. Okay. I think we'll play Spirited Companion, honestly. We'll play Spirited Companion to get as much power behind Catilda. Draw a card. Okay, that's nice. We'll swing with a nice Catilda there. That's 4 lifelink. We'll go up to 21, and we still have a Spirited Companion. So next turn, I'd say Weaver of Harmony. And we'll hold back as much as we can next turn. And then maybe in 2 turns we can swing for victory. We can aim for that. Sorry.
Out of my way!
Looks like we'll be swinging to hit Soren. Flying and lifelink.
You can deal with my servant. I'm busy.
Okay, it looks like we're going to send Catilda and Spirited Companion at Soren and see what he does. We're going to, I guess, play Weaver of Harmony. This will be a 2/2 Spirited Companion. As a matter of fact, you know what? We'll make the Spirited Companion a 3/3. See what he does. I think we'll go after Soren because I like that +1 ability. I think that's really good. I think that'll help our opponent out. Yeah, I guess I'll just do it. I think yeah, best not to block if I attack it too.
Darkness, I return.
Point there. I think I won't play anything else. Opponent will lifelink themselves 2 back. Sacrifice an artifact or creature, draw 2 cards, create a treasure. Very nice. Hey, our opponent's playing a lot of... Oh, he can kill the Generous Visitor that way. Okay, that's pretty good, to be honest. Caught me not having given my Generous Visitor a counter there. So I can play Jukai Naturalist into a... if I do, I can't double it. So I think I'd like to double the... I'd like to double the Spirited Companion there. Yeah, I think we're going to double Spirited Companion here. Because we only have 1 green. So hopefully we draw another source of green, even if it comes into play tapped. I think we're going to play a Michiko's Reign of Truth here. And then next turn, we can double it on Catilda and probably swing for victory. This is going to be a +4 Catilda. So 6, 10. Yeah, and then this. Yeah, you know what? I'm not gonna swing with the Spirited Companion. Yep, it deals 1 damage to him. And next turn we can use Weaver of Harmony to double this trigger ability. That might be a big Miko Massacre. Yeah, that could be everything. Alright, very nice, yep. Good play, opponent. Alright, now we have to build back. Here we go. How do we do that? How about Weaver of Harmony into Matilda? I doubt our opponent has much of those. We'll see. I am estimating that they top deck that because they let me. Okay. Well, I estimated incorrect.
I take no
two
joy in
Catilda.
the slaughter.
Two Catilda enchantments.
You will serve me well.
We're going to exile his Sorin so that he can't draw a lot of cards.
Excuse my sudden egress.
I'm going to call it our opponent's turn so he can't keep getting 2-for-1 value with board wipes. Because next turn I can put on one of these guys and it looks like I can swing in and block flying. Yeah, he swung with his flyer. I guess he doesn't know that this is going to give my guy flying. Let's see, I have 6 mana. So I could play Jukai Naturalist into this for 4. Our opponent has a bunch of stuff on the field and 2 cards in hand. I'm going for that. Our Portrait of Michigo essentially has 2 times the number of enchantments that we have on the field. Power and toughness. Now our opponent has a lot of stuff on the field, but we have 37 life, so let's see what they can do. I'm not blocking that. Now here's the thing, they have a blocker open, but they have no cards in hand, so we're feeling really good with this Rune of Might. Tamiyo's safekeeping, borrowed time. Let's borrow time something. How about their blocker? Unless, what's this exactly? Oh, deathtouch? Well, you know what? Let's borrowed time that. And then we'll just put a Rune of Might on a 12. We'll just make this a 12-12. Or a 13-13, I guess, in total. Yeah, there you go. Yep. Oh, he didn't let me swing for my victory. That's A-okay. It's always nice building a fat Catilda swinging for the victory. Or in that case, a fat Portrait of Michigo. So that was nice. Looks like the new weekly rewards just came out. Looks like I have a pack of Kamigawa on the free track coming up. That's nice. I'm going to go get one right now. I'll see what we get. I mentioned that I'd like to get one in the set where I need the dual lands. So why don't we do that? That would really increase my win percentage. Let me just make sure actually, because now that I look at them, I don't remember which way the face was pointing in the set. I don't know exactly which one it is. Okay, it looks like the face is pointing more up than down. The face of that wolf is pointing up. Okay. Something I'm also doing is I was getting packs of Ixalan because I'm trying to put together red and green dinosaurs. Eventually, I'd like to put together red, green, and white dinosaurs. That's Naya dinosaurs. I would very much like to put that together. So that is a long-term goal, we can call it, but that is something that I'm looking to have for the channel, possibly in the further future. But yep, I love me some dinosaurs. I love me Gruul dinosaurs, Naya dinosaurs with Jishath and Zakama, and eventually when I get enough mythics, because this is a sink for mythics, but an Ilharg deck. We got Burn Down the House. And that's a good wipe spell, especially in the colors that I run, green and red. Speaking of those, because in the block that I run in the Guilds of Ravnica and kind of War of the Spark blocks when that was standard legal, the best burn spell I had was or for all burn spell I had was it deals 2 damage. What's a fiery cannonade? Deals 2 damage to each non-pirate creature, and it costs 2 and a mountain. And that's not good enough for. If you're paying 3, you should be getting 3 damage to each creature, like Anger of the Gods. It costs 1 and 2 mountains instead of 2 and a mountain, but I think that's honestly that's pretty easy to splash into anything running red. So I think that's a negligible difference. I think that the fiery cannonade is inexcusable at two mana. Anger of the Gods is better at 3, so I would like to get my hands on 4 of those in paper magic. But this burn down the house here, 5 damage to each creature and each planeswalker, and I like that. I might have to pick up a couple copies of that just to have it, and not to mention I'll pick up a couple of those tokens just to have them. I probably won't pick that option as much, but who knows? I like the tokens, so I'd like to have those. And man, 5 damage to each creature and each planeswalker in red, so I could use that for the dinos or for my Ilharg deck, because Ilharg is a 6/6, so he'll survive that. I've run God Eternal Ronus in that deck. He'll die to it, but he'll go back into my deck. A Ravager Worm with a +1/+1 counter will live through that because it becomes a 5/6. Oh man, okay. I went on a little bit about that, but man, that is so much better than the awful, awful Fiery Cannonade card that, granted, I chose to limit myself to, but that's because I wanted to play within the set. I kind of prefer it that way, limiting myself in that capacity. I don't know. So that was Selesnya Enchantments. We opened a pack. We did not get the 1 or 2 cards that we're looking for. Overgrown Farmland being the ideal one because we can use it now, but I guess we could have also used the red green. It's Rockfall Vale. I think Sundown Pass is the white and red one, and that's from another set. So we didn't get that, but that's what we're looking for to improve this deck, and ultimately we're going to add the red haste rune to the deck, and I hopefully hopefully that really helps us pump out our damage on that turn. And if we can win a turn sooner, then that should mean that we win a certain percentage more of our games. So once again, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for leaving a like and a subscribe, a comment if you chose to do that. I'd very much appreciate that. And we'll see you next time. Take care.